episode is we have the stat report to go over, and wow, we're going to kind of review where we've come from January to now. Yeah, through July. Just came out.
Sure.
Okay, been looking forward to this. This is a great episode, and I think it's worth sticking around for the entire
I'll link to
report.
where you can go. Yeah. Go for it.
All right, sales are down 22.8% month over month. Wowzer.
Holy man.
The year-over-year comparison is down 31.6%.
Nikes.
Okay, Schneikes allowed. New inventory has a month-over-month decrease of 13%, while the year-over-year comparison increased by 7.2%. So we're going to talk about that a little bit when we do inventory, because we have seen a slowdown. So
yeah, these numbers aren't like, woo, like we didn't know this was coming. We knew it's been coming, or we know we've already looked at some of the July numbers, but Tom Ruff kind of has a way of putting it together a little bit differently. So hang tight.
Yes. Okay, so total inventory has a month-over-month increase of 15.4%, which means the new inventory was actually down. So if total inventory is up, that can only mean one thing: homes are sitting on the market.
Sitting a little bit longer. Yep.
The year-over-year reflects an increase of 92.2%.
That is a holy shnikey
wowzer
statistic. Yeah.
Okay, month supply of inventory, not surprising, was 2.33 with July at 3.48. So that's a huge jump up on the month supply of inventory.
And it just kind of makes the meter go over more and more to a balanced market.
That is correct. So. Okay, average new list price are up 14.3% year over year, which seems counterintuitive here.
Good. That's good news. Ray of sunshine.
The year-over-year median is up 17.1, so a little bit more than that. However, the average sales price is only up 9.7%, so there's a gap of about 5% there. And the same with the median, it's about a gap of 5, because the median sales prices are only up 12%.
So is it correct to say that we're at about 95% for sold to list price?
Yeah, that's about right if you look at it that way. Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
It's actually a little bit higher.
Buzzing through this because I want to get to Tom Ruff's commentary, which is hilarious, by the way.
It is hilarious.
Days on market was up 5 days, same as the national that we just went over. So year over year, taking more days on market.
Right.
Okay, commentary. This is how Tom Ruff with the information market starts. This month in stat, I'd like to walk you down that imaginary path through the nostalgically remembered past, also known as memory lane. We'll travel back through another dimension using charts and graphs, nothing wrong with charts and graphs, to enlighten your mind. We'll journey through a wondrous land where home price boundaries were limited only by the seller's imagination. A land where you didn't even need to place a signpost in the ground. Using snippets from prior stats, our travelers will take us from January 1, 2022 through today, where we find ourselves knocking on the door of a balanced market. Knew that was coming. A market where strange words like incentives, concessions, price drops, and buy downs, oh my, are now a part of our daily vocabulary. To some, this new dimension has come to be known as the Twilight Zone. Oh my gosh, I thought that was hilarious.
If you know, you know. If you don't, find out.
Okay, January. We're going to go all the way back to the first of the year, January. Armless began 2022 with the lowest number of active listings beginning any year in history. Pair historically low supply and normal demand, they just call it normal demand, and you get skyrocketing prices.
Right.
In January, Stat reported a 28% year-over-year gain in the median sales price. So that's where we started. 28%. Okay. Unsustainable and an affordability issue. Those were the warnings that were brought up at that time.
Right.
New conversations began to emerge around inflation and the potential impact of rising interest rates. So that's where the whispers of the inflation was a concern, and rising interest rates.
Yeah,
all started
we
in
were
January.
saying, how is this sustainable? These increases are crazy, this 20% that we're seeing. And how is everybody going to afford this if it does continue?
Right. So in February, we highlighted the absorption rate. This is the rate at which available homes are sold in a specific market during a given time.
Right.
Historically, an absorption rate of 20 would be considered a balanced market.
Okay.
At that time, our absorption rate stood at 191.71.
Not good.
On March 1st, we reported an absorption rate of, get this, 212.71.
Wow. I don't know what that means, but there's those numbers just keep getting higher instead of going closer
well,
to
that
20.
was the peak, because in the words of Tina Tambuer, our market had moved from frenzied to insane. We knew a market correction was inevitable. The first reported empirical evidence of a market shift came in our February issue of Stat, and that was published March 15th, so he's a month behind. It was reported on a study done by Tina Tambuer, who studied the rental market.
Right.
Ironic that it started with the
Remember
rental
this?
market.
Yeah,
I do remember this. She found a discernible change in rental inventories and pricing.
I remember that.
Yeah, the number of rentals available, we had been talking for years, it seems like 2 years
so
now,
hard to
3
find a
years. It's
rental.
impossible to find a rental, and they're
then all of a
astronomically
sudden-
priced. All of a sudden, rental
rentals.
inventories are skyrocketing, and pricing is starting to stable, and tenants are even negotiating lower rental rates, just bang out of the blue.
Right.
Our conclusion, the strong buying activity from the institutional investors over the past year was beginning to saturate our rental market. So just as we were publishing their findings, the federal government stepped in and raised interest rates. That was the very first one. So you got a couple things compounding and snowballing
The
now.
federal government says we need to get in front of this.
And the way we're going to do it is
curb
with
some
the interest rate.
interest rates, and that's going to help slow down this housing market.
Right.
And it has.
In March, March's issue of Stat was published in April. Stat reported sellers' markets don't last forever. The market will eventually shift, but until now we didn't know when.
Right.
We've routinely referenced interest rates as the wild card. The when is most likely now. As always, we have more questions than answers. What we do know, prices will continue to rise at least through June as supply remains scarce. So we weren't seeing a massive increase in inventory yet, so prices were continuing to rise.
So we knew prices were going to continue to rise through June because that Fed interest rate and the interest rates for mortgages were the wild card. What was going to happen there?
Right. Over the next few months, we'll be closely monitoring demand, both in its strength and makeup, as well as the impact of the recent rise in mortgage rates. So at this point, we're starting to see an increase in the mortgage rates.
Well, of course, by then as well, we have the war on Ukraine had started. It was middle to the end of March when that had started. So we didn't know where that was going either.
Right.
Still don't.
April. When the housing market moves from a seller's market to a balanced market, demand softens first, and a drop in demand is what we're seeing. Dun, 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 dun.
Right.
As reported by Armless on May 1st, demand was down 7.9% year over year, with supply up 10.6% year over year. So that was the first time we started seeing the demand going down and the supply going up.
Yeah.
Today, supply is 21% higher than last year, so we were seeing a major increase at this point in the supply. and 26% higher than last month. So at that time, between March and April, we saw a 26% increase in inventory.
I like how he finished that, suggesting our market is cooling.
Yes, suggesting our market is
We're
cooling.
not sure, but we think this is going on.
In May, the times
go
are
on.
changing. While we are still in a seller's market, prospective buyers and their budgets have taken a big hit in just the last few weeks, lowering their confidence. It also appears the prime objective of the government is to bring down inflation. We could reach market balance as soon as mid-August. This was the first time that we heard that mentioned.
Yeah, it's mid-August.
Sorry. In June, we saw a 20% year-over-year decline in the number of homes sold, as reported by Armless. The recent changes in monetary policy are beginning to accomplish the desired goal of slowing housing demand, which will slow inflation. When July's closing numbers are reported, the impact of these changes will clearly they will be clearly visible and undeniable. I remember that.
And they were.
Okay, so here we are. The purpose of this exercise was to show you just how quickly our market has transitioned from what was described as insanity, an absorption rate of 2.12.71 on March 1, to what might very well be a balanced market. Again, reminder, an absorption rate of 20 by September 1. So we're looking at a perfectly balanced market by September 1.
That's 10 days away.
Yep, it'll be an interesting
Less than
report
10.
next month. So July's marketing report, now we're completely up to date, and this is where we're at. Armless reported 5,962 homes closing in July of this year. Okay, that's the second lowest total ever reported in July. You want to know when the lowest was?
Tell us, when was the lowest?
Crash in July of 2007. There were only 4,730 sales reported.
That was not a good year.
People have been asking again, when are prices going to be dropping? Well, here we are. The average sales price fell 7.4% month over month. The median sales price fell 4.5% month over month.
Yeah.
It is amazing how quickly our market transitioned in the first 7 months of this year.
Yep.
It has been incredibly rapid.
Yep.
How quickly. 30-year mortgage, and we can just kind of compare as the Fed rate has gone up, so has the interest rate. Not surprising.
And I can share these graphs if you want.
They will be shared. Joey will put them in the video.
If you want them, let me know. If you want to.
Well, you can probably superimpose that one in at this point, right?
I can.
Okay, you're amazing.
Okay.
Okay, the absorption rate began falling from its pinnacle in March. In April, the absorption rate began to decline and days on market began to increase.
One thing that I found when I was going through this report was, we always are talking about the housing market being slow to catch up, except when it comes to this Fed rate change and the economy changes, and there were a lot of things that made it like a Bermuda Triangle for the housing market.
Perfect storm.
Perfect storm, and we had to adjust quite quickly, or the market adjusted quite quickly. 7 months is pretty quick,
right?
For all these changes. So just want to throw that in.
We are beginning to see a rise in active listings. We've been talking about that for a while. It's
leveled out a little bit over the past 3 weeks. It's still rising, but not as much.
Right. And again, he's reviewing supply versus demand the last 48 months. So that's where this information is coming from here. He's kind of shifted gears. So we begin to see a rise in active listings. Talked about that. Supply rose. Demand fell. So closed residential listings, we're seeing the graph going down as the inventory is going up. And price drops began to increase. So we started seeing
so now we're looking at
reductions.
The past 24 months.
Right. Today, price drops are averaging 5.52% below original list and 3.48% below the final list price. So we are seeing, so
there's that 95% of list price.
yeah, it's actually
or
96 and a half.
96.5%
below what you list it for. You can expect to sell it. That's for your sellers.
Yeah.
As a result, the median sales price peaked in June and is currently in decline. Haven't heard that in a long, long time. So that brings us full circle to our next forecast for August closings. Last month, the stat mathematical model projected the median sales price for July at $450,000. The actual number was $453,500, so actually a little higher than they predicted.
Pretty close, though. I mean,
however, looking ahead to August, the Armless Pending Price Index is projected median sales price of $444,900.
Yeah.
So a $5,100 reduction. If August median sales price projection is correct, we will see a year-over-year gain of 9.85%. So we started the year at 28% appreciation rate, just insanity. We're now down to a 9.85%, which is getting closer to what you typically expect. You expect real estate's a great investment, and you expect it to appreciate by 7% every year. Healthy
gain.
Solid gain. You know, low risk, and so we're getting there. We're gonna be, if the mathematical.
So are you saying that my property values haven't dropped?
Yes, your property value. Well, by the end of the year, you're throwing me a curveball. If we keep this rate on, your appreciation is still going to be positive. You're going to be at 9.85. I like the way you led me into that.
Exactly.
That was sneaky.
But I mean, that's the general public question, though, is, are my property values suffering? Are they going to in the coming year? No, they're not. They're not rising at 20% anymore.
Or 28%.
They're rising at 9%. Currently, and
it won't surprise me if it gets down to 5% by the end of the year.
But that's still healthy, and it's still a gain.
Yeah, it's great.
Your point.
So yeah, you're not losing money. That's what everybody. That's what everybody's asking.
Am I losing money?
Am I losing appreciation? Yes, you're losing some appreciation because it was out of control. So the appreciation is shrinking back to normal.
Right.
But you're not losing any value in your home. You're still appreciating every year. It's just not at the rate that it was. Okay, so year-over-year sales volume will decline approximately 25% year-over-year, while the median sales price is projected to decline 1.9% month-over-month. I thought that was a fabulous report.
It is a good report.
That was
a
amazing.
Really good report.
I was really excited about that.
Can't get long-winded for the average person.
Yeah, it is.